The White House releasing more details on the proposed American Families Plan and what kind of impact it would have here in Georgia. The plan would include a big boost for education, preschool and childcare, and higher education. So let's break down some of that for you, starting with higher education. The plan would ensure at least 2 years of free community college for all students, including Dreamers. It would also increase the maximum amount for Pell Grants by $1,400. And minority-serving institutions like HBCUs would also get a boost in support. According to the White House, there are 38 such schools in Georgia. Now taking a look at preschool and child care, a big issue for many parents in Georgia. According to the White House, right now only 41% of eligible children are enrolled in public pre-K. But the plan would create universal preschool, giving more families the option of affordable early education. Now, when it comes to child care right now, they say Georgians pay about $7,500 per toddler. That ends up being about 8% of the income for a two-parent household. But under the plan, low and middle income families would pay no more than 7% of their total income. The plan would also ensure that preschool teachers and child care workers make a minimum of $15 an hour. There's a lot more included in the proposed plan, including improvements for health care, paid leave, and tax cuts. We have all of it for you on 11alive.com.